Welcome to the deep dive. It is Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. And the feeds are just buzzing today, aren't they?
Absolutely packed. Hard to keep up sometimes.
Totally. So we're diving in, cutting through that noise. We want to synthesize the really big shifts happening right now. Tech, finance, how we work.
Yeah, we've got some major stories. Quantum computing leaps, the insane cost of AI infrastructure.
And the tech job market. It's getting a complete rewrite. Our goal here is simple. Get you informed, fast.
Let's do it. Where do we start?
Let's kick off with a huge milestone in computing. Google's verifiable quantum advantage.
Ah, yes. This is genuinely a landmark moment. Not just hype this time.
Okay, so previous quantum claims were exciting, but maybe lacked proof.
Exactly. They focused on speed, supremacy. This is different. It's about certainty, scientific validation, utility.
Got it. Let's get into the first post. This one's from @AskPerplexity. Reading. Breaking. Google's quantum chip computed a 150-year problem in 2 hours and proved it. Nature confirmed today. Willow achieved verifiable quantum advantage, meaning physics validates its answers. At 13,000 neoclassical speed with 99.9% fidelity across 105 qubits, it's not just.
Okay, so the phrase you really need to grab onto here is verifiable quantum advantage.
Right. Not just supremacy.
No, supremacy just meant faster. This means the answers coming out of that quantum chip, they're repeatable. You can cross-check them against known physics. It's solid.
And how do they do that? How do they cross-check?
They used a new method called the quantum echoes algorithm. And crucially, they compared the quantum results to actual experimental data.
From what kind of experiments?
From nuclear magnetic resonance, NMR. That's a standard, trusted, classical physics technique for looking at atoms.
Okay.
So the quantum chip simulated how complex molecules behave, how their atoms interact. Then they checked those simulations against the real-world NMR data, and they matched.
Ah, so the simulation matched reality. That's the verification.
Precisely. That's the scientific confirmation. It moves quantum from, a cool theory to something genuinely useful.
And that usefulness, that 13,000 times speed up, what can it actually do right now, even if it's early days?
Well, right away, it unlocks specific molecular simulations that were just impossible before. Think targeted drug discovery.
Like modeling how a drug binds to a protein?
Exactly that. Or designing new materials like better electrolytes for batteries. Now, it's still small scale, like 15 to 28 atom molecules.
But it's proof of principle.
It's proof of principle. The modeling power works. It's validated. Now they just need to scale it up for real commercial and scientific impact.
Okay, huge potential there. But let's switch gears to something very concrete. The massive, almost unbelievable cost of building out AI right now.
Yeah, the scale of the infrastructure required.
Yeah.
It's bending the rules of global finance. It's staggering.
The sheer concentration of money and power is something else.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's distorting the entire semiconductor market because the costs are just so high.
This next post from @Dwarkishusp really drives that home. Reading, @Romo Avdin and I wrote a blog post to teach ourselves about the AI build-out. We were surprised by some of the things we learned. One, there's a huge fab CapEx overhang with a single year of earnings in 2025. Nvidia could cover the last 3 years of TSMC's entire CapEx in 2025.
Just stop in that sentence for a second. Nvidia's projected 2025 earnings, $200 billion.
$200 billion.
And that could cover all the capital expenditure of TSMC, the world's biggest chip maker, since 2020. That's $150 billion TSMC spent building fabs and everything.
Wow. So Nvidia makes more in 1 year than the main manufacturer spent in 3.
Effectively, yeah. That kind of financial muscle means Nvidia doesn't just buy chips. They influence TSMC's entire roadmap, what gets built next, everything. Huge leverage.
And so what for the rest of us beyond the finance world is the energy needed to power all this?
That's the big one. It's global. It's physical. McKinsey's forecasting maybe $2 trillion in annual spending on AI infrastructure by 2030.
$2 trillion a year.
And the power to run it. They estimate a massive 66 gigawatts.
Okay, 66 gigawatts. Help put that in context for people.
Well, that's roughly the total electricity capacity of a whole country like, say, Belgium or Thailand. An entire industrialized nation's worth of power just for AI.
That's incredible.
And it's forcing the big players, the hyperscalers like Amazon, Google. They're having to go around the usual power companies.
How?
They're paying huge premiums just to secure energy directly, like buying their own natural gas turbines. Because these cutting-edge chips lose value way faster than you can build a nuclear plant or upgrade the grid.
Right. The hardware race is happening now, which brings us to this next post showing the physical reality. This is from @adcockbrett, reading, Figure's new B200 cluster is now online. And there's a picture of server racks.
Right, so Brett Adcock's company, Figure AI, they build humanoid robots. And they just announced their new Nvidia B200 GPU cluster is up and running. They needed to train their big AI model, Helix, which handles vision, language, action for the robots.
And the cost for just getting that hardware online?
The estimates are somewhere between, say, $15 and $30 million.
Yeah.
Just for this one cluster.
15 to 30 million, just to get started, really.
Exactly. It shows you the AI race is fundamentally about capital. Who can buy the most powerful hardware fastest?
Okay, so if the hardware costs are astronomical, it kind of makes sense that the human side is changing too, like the value of the people working with this stuff, the standards.
Absolutely. The whole tech job market is shifting. The idea of just applying online based on merit, that seems to be fading fast.
Fading how?
Looking more like older white-collar jobs, where connections and background really matter more.
Okay, let's look at post number 3 from @Gergely-Oras on this, reading, Welcome to the new tech job market that increasingly represents other non-tech white-collar job markets. 1. Referrals are the best way to get a job. 2. References greatly matter. 3. Pedigree, past job, college, etc. becomes more important. 4. Background checks more thorough.
And this shift, this sort of regression, it's a direct result of AI flooding the application process.
So?
We're seeing estimates that almost half, like 46% of job applications now involve AI tools like ChatGPT helping write them.
46%. Wow.
Yeah. So if you're a hiring manager and you're drowning in perfectly polished AI-generated resumes, what do you trust?
You trust things that are harder to fake.
Exactly. Personal referrals, someone's track record, their pedigree, rigorous background checks, verifiable signals.
Which definitely makes it harder for people just starting out, right? If you don't have that network or that fancy college name.
It absolutely raises the barrier to entry. It risks bringing back some old class divides into tech, which used to pride itself on being more about skills.
And if AI is flooding hiring, can it actually contribute meaningfully? Like intellectually?
Well, that leads right into the next fascinating point, AI as a co-author.
Right. Post number 4 from @Communismus asks exactly that. Reading, so we have now reached the point where ChatGPT is officially listed as a co-author in papers.
And the answer is yes.
Yes?
Yes, we have. This specific case is about a pretty groundbreaking math paper.
Oh, really? What did it do?
It actually solved a famous long-standing problem, the Erdős problem 707. There was even a $1,000 prize on it from back in the 70s.
And GPT-5 is listed as a co-author.
It is, for its role in generating the formal verification code. The human authors called it vibe coding.
Vibe coding? What does that mean? What did the AI actually do?
So vibe coding here meant the AI generated thousands of lines, over 6,000 lines of this very specific formal code called Lean 4. It's used to mathematically prove things.
Oh.
Basically, the AI did the incredibly tedious, time-consuming, but structurally important groundwork. It was like a super efficient intern setting up the whole scaffolding for the proof.
So the human mathematician could focus on the actual creative thinking and logic.
Exactly. Instead of spending weeks just translating ideas into this complex formal code, they could focus on the high-level stuff. That's a huge precedent for academia for what counts as contribution.
Okay, so AI is generating code good enough for mathematical proofs. But is the everyday code it generates actually good? Or just a lot of code? This seems to be a real debate among developers.
Yeah, there's definitely a tension there. The quality really seems to depend on how you guide the AI, how you prompt it.
We're seeing experts share pretty detailed workflows for getting better results.
Right, like this post from @Matt Shumer. He outlines his specific process with OpenAI Codex.
Let's hear it. Reading, this is my current @OpenAI Codex workflow. It's insanely powerful and allows Codex to implement far more complex features than the default setup. It's also much more reliable and leads to better code, with significantly less scope creep. Follow it exactly, models and all.
What's interesting is his structured approach. It's got 3 distinct stages. First, GPT-5 analyzes the task and asks questions back, forces clarity up front.
Okay.
Second, it generates a detailed plan, like a markdown, modular steps. Only then, stage 3, does GPT-5 Codex actually write the code based on that plan.
So structure is key to quality.
Seems to be. That structured prompting helps produce more reliable, less sprawling code.
Lots of developers are complaining about the typical AI code they see, saying it's bloated, overly complex, like in this post from @BenHilak, reading, "It's sad that all code looks like this now," and he's critiquing some verbose AI-style code.
Yeah, the common complaint is that it's just too much. Too many comments, too many safety checks, loads of type hints. Some people are calling it Java in Python.
Java in Python, meaning overly verbose and maybe a bit rigid?
Kind of, yeah. It likely reflects the AI being trained on huge public code bases where that defensive explicit style is common, especially in large organizations.
But hang on, isn't that kind of excessive documentation and structure actually good for big companies? For audits, maintenance, bringing new people up to speed?
That's a really important point. For beginners, or in really large regulated projects, maybe that extra verbosity is helpful. It's clear, if clunky.
Right.
But research suggests that for experienced developers, experts working in fast teams, all that extra stuff can actually slow them down, like by 20 or 30%.
Because they spend time deleting the bloat.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It gets in the way. So it's a trade-off, isn't it? Speed of generation versus maybe long-term elegance and maintainability for experts.
A classic engineering dilemma. Okay, let's shift to safety. The moment these powerful tools are out, people start poking holes in them.
Oh, absolutely. It's a constant cat and mouse game. New safety feature goes up, users immediately test the boundaries. We saw that with a recent generative video issue.
This is from @TrunkFan reading. A user was able to AI generate this video of Michael Jackson and Bryan Cranston by swapping in the name Walter White. And looks like that loophole is closed now.
Right, so this highlights how early safeguards against replicating celebrities can be bypassed.
By using the fictional character name.
Exactly. Walter White wasn't initially blocked like Bryan Cranston probably was. It was enough to trick the system into generating a deepfake video using Cranston's likeness.
And the response.
OpenAI apparently closed that loophole quickly. And they also recently introduced new opt-in rules for using someone's voice or likeness. It just shows AI safety isn't a one-time fix. It's ongoing vigilance.
And as the tech gets trickier, the need for real expertise just grows, which leads to education. Google DeepMind is pushing a new resource, Post 9, reading. If you want to learn AI from the experts, keep reading. Together with at UCL, we made a free AI Research Foundations curriculum available now on Google Skills. With lessons from a Gemini lead like at Oriel Vignal SML, you'll explore how to code better, fine-tune an AI model, and...
Okay, so this is great. A free, high-level curriculum from the experts. Covers essential technical skills like fine-tuning models. That's becoming super important.
I sense a but.
Well, yeah. If you look at the replies to that thread, you see this interesting split emerging. Yes, we need the hardcore technical skills, but there's also this huge growing demand for, let's call it human-centered AI.
Meaning AI that understands nuance, context, maybe even emotion.
Exactly. Think about training AI for empathy. There's a startup called Mira doing just that for mental health support. Research actually suggests empathetic AI can improve therapy outcomes quite a bit, maybe 20–30%.
Wow.
So it's a balance, isn't it? We need people who can build the engines, the models, but we desperately need people who can train them to interact thoughtfully, safely, especially in sensitive areas.
Technical skill versus human insight. That tension seems to be playing out inside big tech companies, too. Like this news about Meta. Post 14 from @Andrew Curran, reading, from what Axios is reporting, Alexander Wang appears to be taking the axe to Fair.
Yeah, this is potentially a big deal. Wang is Meta's AI chief, and Fair is their fundamental AI research unit.
The one's known for open source stuff like Llama.
Exactly. Really foundational models that push the whole field forward. And the report is they're cutting around 600 roles there.
Ouch. So what does cutting back on fundamental open research signal?
It looks like a strategic pivot, moving away from pure open-ended research towards AI that's much more tightly integrated into Meta's actual products, things that directly impact the bottom line.
Makes business sense in the short term, maybe?
Perhaps. But the risk is losing that open research momentum, losing talent. It could mean less foundational knowledge being shared publicly, potentially slowing down progress for everyone outside Meta as they focus inward.
Interesting. And this focus on integrating AI, on automation, it ties directly into probably the biggest global trend out there, right? Demographics. Mark Andreessen touched on this. Post 10 from @PMarca, he linked to an analysis about demographic decline and added an AI robot GIF.
Right. Andreessen's framing AI is basically the answer to falling birth rates and shrinking workforces globally.
Because populations are aging, shrinking in many places.
Yeah, fertility rates are below replacement level in many key economies, like 1.6 in the U.S., even below 1.1 in China. So his implied point is unavoidable. AI and automation have to fill the gap left by fewer workers.
Automation scales faster than populations shrink.
That seems to be the bet. Forecasts, like from PwC, suggest AI might displace maybe 45% of current work tasks.
That sounds scary.
But simultaneously, it could add something like $13 trillion to global GDP by 2030. The idea is the productivity gains from automation will more than make up for the fewer human workers, keeping the economy growing, just powered by silicon instead of people.
Okay, fascinating macro view. Let's wrap with a couple of quick hardware and vehicle metrics. First, Tesla's safety numbers. Post 8 from @Tesla, reading autopilot and FSD supervised safety data. In Q3 2025, we recorded one crash for every 6.36 million miles driven in which drivers were using autopilot technology. By comparison, the most recent data available from NHTSA and FHWA from 2023 shows that in the United States there was an...
Okay, 6.36 million miles per crash with autopilot supervised. How does that compare?
The U.S. average, based on older 2023 data, was about 702,000 miles per crash.
So that's roughly a 9 times improvement. Almost an order of magnitude better according to their data.
It's self-reported, but the trend seems consistently better than average human driving.
Yeah, supervised systems are setting a new benchmark, it seems.
And finally, just relentless pace from SpaceX, Post 5, reading Watch Falcon 9 launched 28 at Starlink satellites to orbit from California.
Just another Tuesday for them, right?
Pretty much.
This is part of that crazy launch cadence they're aiming for, over 100 missions this year. They needed to keep building out Starlink, which now has over 6,000 satellites.
And Starlink pays the bills for
Starship. That constant launch revenue is absolutely crucial for funding the development and testing of their next-generation rocket. It all connects back to funding the next big hardware leap.
Incredible. What a whirlwind through today's feed. We hit verified quantum computing, Nvidia's $200 billion dominance shaking up supply chains, the tech job market closing ranks.
AI co-authoring math papers, the debate over code quality, Meta pivoting from open research.
Right. And connecting it all back to those huge demographic and automation trends.
And, woven through almost all of this was AI taking on human tasks, writing code, even contributing to science.
Yeah.
So as you digest all this, maybe one final thought to chew on, building on that co-authorship and code debate. If an AI consistently generates code that's, say, 30% more efficient than a human expert can write, who's ultimately responsible for that code? Ethically, legally, for its maintenance, its security down the line.
Is it the human who wrote the prompt? Or the organization that built and owns the AI model that produced the superior code?
Exactly. Who owns the responsibility when the AI outperforms the human creator? Something to think about as we all navigate this new territory.
A really critical question. Definitely food for thought. That's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.
Catch you next time.